Good morning, everyone. There is no Army Piper today. It is just a BC and OC. Army Piper is in Jamaica, so we're just gonna do the show with the two of us. How are you doing this morning, OC?
Doing fantastic. Such a great day. It's very chilly out there and ready to rock and roll.
Oh yeah. Well, apparently, me telling Piper to send us some warm weather worked just a little bit. Yesterday it was like 3 degrees out. Today it's 17, so slightly better. He sent us a little bit of warm weather, but we'll see how the rest of the week goes because it's supposed to snow, and I'm not looking forward to that. So. Did you have anything you wanted to start the show out with today? I know we were seeing a little bit of some moves on Bitcoin, and then I got a few things to go over. So you want to start it out with some Bitcoin, and then we'll dive into the rest of that nice start of the show.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me get your there we go. New screen share. Let me get your screen share all pulled up, and let me get that removed off there. There we go. Got it all ready to go.
Let's go. That was quick. All right. So, looking at where we left out, we were looking for a short. Remember, right in here, we have our first entry right there. In fact, let me throw a line because I want you guys to notice how well this played out. This was our first entry, this was our secondary entry, and you'll see that we averaged up our setup. All right. That was important, and that is important. Why? Because as the price action went lower, you will see the circles when I took some profit as we start overextending, right? Look at that. We were having almost that flip of the ribbon right in there, oversold. And as we got there, I took some profits along these lines, almost at the very bottom, not on the very last candle, but one candle right after we had another chance. But since I already have taken 50% out, that was pretty okay. All right. So as the price actually started pumping up, if we would have just kept our initial entry, look at that. We would have been out by now. I mean, by some sense. But luckily at this point, we did made it, or we did divide it between half of an entry here, half of an entry there, averaging up our price entry. Let me tell you exactly at 89,518 for a much safer zone. Does that felt like we were gonna get out? Yes, absolutely. That's why we took profits early, and that's why we keep the rest for a continuation. So at this point, it seems that we're getting like a goose head. It usually means lower retracement, farther move to the upside, and then bigger retracement. So we might have still gotten to be out in here. I'm still gonna let it play because there is a small chance. And look at that change of color, look at that peak now, how it changed, right? So if it ends up being a red peak, most likely we are gonna have a continuation to our initial target all the way down in between 84k and 81k for the support zone. Once I'm all the way down here, I'm gonna be looking for an entry, a reversal, or even just a small long here. Nothing too crazy, but remember, we buy the top, we sell the top, right? And we buy the bottom. So don't do it the other way around. And at this one, and
You're telling me
if
I've
you
been
do,
doing
use
it
a
wrong
stop
the
loss.
whole time? I've been doing it wrong the whole time. I've been buying tops and selling bottoms.
Exactly, man. I mean, between Alex and Crypto and I, we have a joke like I buy tops because I do like to do break of structure entries, and I still make a profit on it. But that's because we have a very strict, a very strict, how you call this? Oh man, it just flowed out of my head.
Set of rules.
Yeah, set of rules to prevent losing. So basically, it's all right. If I'm going to be doing a break of structure trade, I'm not entering with full position. I'm entering with half of a position, and then looking to average down in a big support area. And then when it bounces, you just close your trade, right? But it have worked fantastically, but remember, don't buy tops. All right, don't buy tops. So looking for the final target to be all the way down here. Hopefully, we are able to get it. We're just a little bit higher of what I was expecting, but so far, so good.
Well, looks like that one's doing extremely well there. Let me get my screen share all pulled up for today. Let me
Oh,
get
what's that
yours up here.
huge circle right in there, man?
Oh yeah, like hype, just going crazy while the rest of the market's seeing a little bit of some sell-off. We have been seeing some sell-off pretty much across the board here. You know, you've got Bitcoin down 0.9%, Ethereum down 0.5%, BNB looking all right, up 0.8%. We've got XRP down 2.7, Solana down 0.4, Tron sitting down 0.6. We've got Dogecoin down 1% and Cardano in that top 10 sitting down at 1.9. Getting outside of that top 10, you are seeing a little bit of green here. You've got Bitcoin Cash up 1%, Leo token up 2%. Usually what you see when the market's a little bit red there. Chainlink dropping a position in that market cap, losing it to Leo token, down 1.3%. Stellar Lumens down 3.1. Hyperliquid taking 4 spots in the market cap with this massive 21% move towards the upside. SWI dropping to that number 20 spot, down 1.7%. Fear and greed meters today. Stock side looking a little bit greedy. We've got the crypto side of things still sitting in some fear though, not too unexpected. We do have a little bit of liquidity to kind of keep your eyes on here. Let's get that to 0.8. I like that model 2 and 0.8 so you can see things just a little bit better there. We've got a little bit of liquidity right underneath us, right around some areas you were just talking about there, OC. So might see that grabbed on up here. That's bottom side 86,700. We do have a little bit here on the 3-day to kind of keep your eye on. Down a little bit lower, that's that 86,100 to about 85,700. So quite in line with what you were talking about there. Failed to really grab up some of that top side liquidity, so some of that is open. If we do get some kind of a bounce like you were talking about, that is an area to definitely keep your eye on. That's up at $90,000. Let me get some of that stock side pulled on up here because we were seeing a little bit of some movements this morning. Let me get the top stocks pulled on up. We got Apple up 1.6%, Nvidia up 1.37%, Berkshire Hathaway seeing a little bit of some sell-off today, down 1.31%. We got Amazon up 1.3. We've got Eli Lilly sitting to the downside 0.4%. ExxonMobil up 0.44. We got Tesla up 0.1. We've got P&G down 0.66 off of a ratings downgrade, so keep your eyes on that one. We've got Microsoft up 1.4. We've got Google up 1.09 and Meta seeing a little bit of some sell-off, but I have been seeing some positive news come out, so we might have to talk about Meta tomorrow after we get through some of this news today. So we did see this one this morning. UnitedHealth posted modest earnings beat, soft revenue guidance as insurer plots turn around. So they did beat their earnings for the fourth quarter, but it was a little bit under expectations. We have been talking about United Health Services for a while here. So we'll kind of have to see if they can continue towards the upside here off of some of this earnings beat, or if this is going to be that area that just continues to run them sideways. This was the big one I saw for today, though. Xi Jinping calling the AI epoch making as China focus tightens on domestic tech. And this is a big tie-in to what we've talked about before with silver, how they've really stopped selling silver outside of China. And a big part of that is silver is highly used in AI technology. And with their 15-year plan, they are highly focused on AI. This is that big fight that we have between the US and China on more than just the global stage. It is also an AI fight. Whoever makes the best AI will probably be the global leader. So keep your eyes on this one. A lot more coming out of the Chinese sector tying into AI. I'm pretty sure you got some silver pulled up as well. Some silver and some copper pulled up as well. Both of those will tie into this one. I did see some more banks are going to be offering Bitcoin to their users here. So JP Morgan just announced that they will be offering Bitcoin to custody for their users. Bank of America, not yet. We've already got Citigroup is exploring the option of custodying things for people instead of just offering them the ETF. Wells Fargo offers the ETF. We've got Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, both offering the ETF. US Bank offering the ETF. PNC Group is looking to launch trading and to launch custodying for their customers. You've got Schwab looking to do trading on Bitcoin as well. You've got BNY Mellon looking to custody crypto for their users. State Street looking to custody as well. American Express has a BTC rewards card. We've got HSBC announcing custodying. We've got USAA with exchange integration, allowing people to buy Bitcoin. HSBC announcing custody. We've got Fifth Third exploring both custodying and trading. And then UBS announcing that they will be having trading of Bitcoin in their banking app. So a lot of big pushes into that crypto sector as we're getting to some levels where you might see Bitcoin hold up a little bit better if you're having these people come on in through the TradFi systems. That's pretty much all I got for this right now. OC, do you have anything that you were looking at this morning?
Oh, yes.
All
What
right.
about, let's bring it up. What about a movie? Let's bring this one up in here first. Well, what about Melania Trump? Will Trump coin rally ahead of Melania Trump movie release? Well, then we'll see that. You didn't see that coming, did you? Neither do I,
Oh,
man.
oh boy. I didn't
I
even know
know.
there was going to be a movie. Shows how much I
Well,
pay attention to stuff like that, though.
well, the title is a little bit deceptive, I will say, because this has to do with about a documentary or documentary focused on the First Lady Melania Trump that sparked a meme coin rally. I mean, you'll see that when it is paired with that documentary, well. It sparked like a 17% over, but then I mean we see Trump coin that keep dumping. So are we gonna get a movie or something? Is something gonna be released to get the pumps on Trump coin? I don't know, but I this I mean Melania Trump and I mean Melania, yeah, Trump and Trump coin feel a little bit meme coiny. Well, they are
Okay.
meme coins, right? So definitely we're gonna get those things moving with with references, right? So I think there's a competition on popularity, and we might be seeing some movements out there. So keep an eye on Trump coin. I'm not sending you to buy meme coins, just saying keep an eye. And maybe if you have some extra bucks, if you're planning to go to the casino, maybe you can save some of those dollars and put them into a meme coin that you think might be rising. So let's go right now into the actual news. And this is bluffing. By the way, bluffing has been a great source of news when you're trying to trade, right? It's been giving me a lot of good information, inside information. Is today we have January 27th. It's a very good topic, hot topic, silver overtakes Bitcoin's post of 2017 gains. Price briefly surges past 115. Hyperliquid's HIP records a 790 million open interest aimed commodities trading boom. So we've been seeing silver just busting through. If we go in here, we can read a little bit more. It's from the blog, so they are reposting this news. And well, as you can see, silver, the ETF, and silver also its price on metal. So let's go take a look at silver really quick, right? This is silver 15 minutes. And despite this looks horrible, let me give you the actual look on silver. I mean, this is the 4 hours, bro. I mean, look at that. Look at that trend line. So now the big dump that looked in the 15 minutes that was just around this itty bitty tiny circle, right? Doesn't really look that bad, right? So let's zoom in here. And we were talking about a possible retracement on silver and on gold. So I was expecting it in here, but we also brought up the predictive ranges. Let me see. I have them in between any of those three layers. So let's wait for that to play it out. And we'll see. There he goes. That we not only bounced from the golden line, one of the strongest lines out there, but also we created a new smart money entry right here. So coming back down, I am expecting at this point a triangular pattern. Some sort of triangular pattern at this point seems to be either 15-minute symmetrical triangle or 4 hours bullish pennant. So we still need to wait for that breakout. Remember that pennants are 50-50. I mean, symmetrical triangles are 50-50, but the gold or the look at that, the gold is not within its percentage of breakout, but within the trend lines that it creates. So remember, breakout retest might be the way on this zone. And let's go just tie it up with gold. We bought the top at this point. So yeah, shout out to you. You follow the buying the top thing. So remember, we buy the top and we still made some money. Why did we bought the top? And that's an important thing. Remember, I like to make break of structured trading, right? Sometimes, yes, and warning, warning, Will Robinson, and this point, danger, danger, Will Robinson. Sometimes buying a break of structure might lead you to buy the top. For example, in this case, if you bought the break of structure, you just went a little bit high, and then you pretty much bought the top, right? So you always need to be extremely careful when making a break of structure purchase. So far so good. This BOS entry, it was perfect. And even with the retracement that we had, it was right on spot going back up. So, by the way, guys, if you haven't taken any profits, this is your warning call to taking profits on gold. Something interesting that is happening is that we're having a technical lower high here. So, it's nothing to worry just now. But we have a technical lower high, so we need to see how low are we going to be pushing to see if we create a technical lower low. If we create that, most likely we are going to be following with a downtrend, the micro downtrend that we are expecting throughout this week. So keep your eyes open on gold. Keep your heads up on gold. We're still above that 09. That means not much of a really dumping, right? But more like a retracement on gold. So that's what I got so far on gold and silver. What else you got, my friend?
Well, I was taking a look at CoreWeave. CoreWeave has gotten a lot of talk after Nvidia ended up dumping some money into them. And we've been seeing a nice little rally on them. We're back up to an area of interest to me. If we can start to reclaim this CME gap from all the way back here in September, then we could start to make some higher movements. We are trying to break our trend here. We have been in a downtrend for a while on CoreWeave. I was calling out some levels down at $61. We got some nice bouncing just a little bit above that. We are trying to close out the CME gap right now. We have left a lot of this open here. We have really seen the resistance coming in at $110. Would like to start to reclaim some of this so we can make our way back up towards some levels we haven't been at since about November. Keep your eye on that 236 on our fib extensions though. That's going to be about 118.57. That'll be a resistance area to kind of keep your eye on for a potential move lower if if that money flow continues to stay in the red here on this higher term time frame, we are trying to get that break from selling pressure to some buying pressure right now here on that 4 hour. So keep your eyes on this area here, bit of an area of interest. If we can't get above all of these areas here, looking for this to come in as a lower high and potential move back down to 61.88. So keep your eyes on some of this. They have been getting a lot of money dumped on in and potentially buoying that stock price for now. I did have one other thing to kind of go over this morning on my normal watch list here. Let me get this pulled on up. Been talking about NVO for quite a while. Got that nice push back up towards the golden pocket here after a nice little bounce off of our platinum pocket. We are starting to see just a little bit of toppiness here on the 4 hour, but we finally got some green money flow. So we are waiting to see if we can get above that golden pocket, really close out this giant CME gap we've had our eyes on for a while here. Daily is looking just a little bit toppy here, so we might need to regain some strength. As you can see, this money flow is at a crucial point here. We are extremely close to that zero line. If we can get that break from selling pressure into some buying pressure here with our volume maintaining quite nicely here on this daily time frame, you could really see a little bit of continuation back into this golden pocket area. We would have to kind of keep our eyes up at $72.17. That'd be that next real area of resistance for us. Get us a little bit of some sideways movements on top of that golden pocket, and then see if we can get a little bit of a continuation up to about 81.26. So I've been holding this for a while now. It has been paying me dividends through all of this. So not a terrible buy here. You know, biggest GLP-1 provider in the world, and they've been branching out their markets. So got it while it was down about 70% and sitting in the green. So we will see how this one plays on out. You got anything on the crypto side of things? I'm not seeing any requests from anyone. You are muted, sir.
Thank you. All right, so sorry for that. Let me get started with some metrics in here that I want to bring up, and that is starting with the fear and greed index. Right now, yesterday we were a little bit more into the fear. Right now, we're coming out of the fear. Most likely, that's going to be reflected on the price heading upwards. But be careful because at this point, remember, after a fear breakout, we might get some more movement to the downside depending on the volume on liquidations, right? So we'll just be careful on that. Not because right now we had some pumping action. Let's go for Bitcoin right there. Means that we're gonna keep going upwards. We still need to confirm with this low or the next low to be a higher low for then to keep going upwards, right? In the meantime, we are still creating a high, lower, low, lower, low. So not because you see the fear and greed index kind of like it started reversing a little bit means that you should be going very heavy on Bitcoin or altcoins. All right. Let me go now to the altcoin season index. We are not, we're very far from altcoin season, very close to Bitcoin season, but nor of them, but really, really, really close still with Bitcoin season. That means that we are more towards the volume is more towards Bitcoin. And this is what I wanted to get to. The top 100 coins performance over the 90 days. And we can see River. We talked about probably shorting River using this indicator right in here. So this as an indicator. So basically what is overextended. So we're not on icon season and we see something that overextension. Well, then as long as it's parabolic, we're not touching it and we're waiting for it to break some structure. And guess what? We got that break of structure perfectly. So we have first the high, higher high, perfect, a low. So a lower low, basically this is your almost your signal, right? And then you're looking for a lower high. At this point, we're looking for the previous high. We actually got it right in there. And if we bring up our indicators, we'll see that we absolutely nail that entry. So let's wait for that. There it is. We had an order block. Not only an order block, we also had a smart money entry right there. So we bounce out of that area. Let me clear this up out of my indicators. And right now we have a trend line, that our first trend line, and then our secondary trend line like this. So what's going on at this point? Why am I bringing this up? Because our target was all the way at 53,024. But look at that. Just want to call your attention that I'm on the 15 minutes, and look at that. Almost hit it, but I keep track of this. And well, this since this was our target, wasn't able to take it on time, but still, so if it's not too late, so guys, if you haven't taken any your profits on River, it's time to do so. But also important, seems like we have a double bottom breakout. So far, it's not a confirmed long because, yes, we have broken above that zero line. Perfect. And we have broken through that trend line. Perfect. But we haven't set a higher high, right? So we are basically right there, but we haven't set a higher high. Let me actually go for that. There it is. Well, it seems like we might a technical higher high. So yeah, I thought we didn't, but seems like we did. All right, so we have put a higher high. We just need to put right now a higher low. So maybe expect something like that. And as long as it's higher than these two areas, so maybe it could be somewhere around these zones, well, then we could draw another trend line, and this is going to be your next entry. If we start breaking through, just wait for dynamic reactor retest your entry and then wait for the breakout. But other than that, well, shout out to you guys if you took the break a structure entry on River. So hopefully you are making some profits. And if you are, make sure, despite we didn't quite hit the alert, make sure you take some profits before it's too late. So far, so good. Let me go over once again to that metric. So I want to go over here, and I want to call your attention to this one in here. I don't know if it's too far away, or can you read it for me? This one right
Uh,
there?
what? AXS?
Yeah. Can you explain me what the heck is Axe Infinity doing in this chart, man? Come on.
No clue. So like I
Dude.
have noticed that during this time frame, we've seen a lot of projects that don't have a lot of market cap that have just been getting some nice pushes of capital into them to really get, some rotation. And that's why we saw some projects that we haven't heard talked about since like 2017 get some crazy movements in them. So maybe that was it. It was more of like a dead project that that they were able to throw some capital in there and get some nice pushes towards the upside on.
Well, hopefully, as long as Axe Infinity becomes a real good game, I'll be down for it. I don't know, it. It doesn't seem like a possibility.
All right.
And in
Well,
other news,
degens be degens. Degens be degens, and they will
oh
always do
yes.
degen things.
Oh, absolutely. In other news, I wanted to go all the way down here. And, well, something that really impressed me was Ina. Ina doing way worse than I was expecting. And I'll be looking for Ina, Injective, Arbitrum, couple of those, LDO, ADA, to start looking for some bottoming. And, of course, you mentioned something important I was about to bring up. It's meme coins, right? So look at that. Flocky is very down. Bonk is very down, right? And why am I looking at Bonk and Flocky and stuff? I'm thinking, right, that if we get Reaver, if we get Axe Infinity, if we get Just, if we get, I don't know, this kind of tokens pumping like sporadically, I might be willing to throw, I don't know, 20 to $50 in some of those with some leverage to see how that plays out, right? I mean, that would be a casino movement. But of course, I feel I first need to make my assessment on every single meme coin to see where am I gonna be throwing that money at, because despite it's a casino entry, I'm gonna be trying to do the counting card casino entry.
We got
Yeah,
Army
that's what it is.
Piper in the house, tuning in from Jamaica. Some of that warm weather. A little bit jealous. So, what was that all you had for some of that rotation of capital this morning? All right.
You were
Well,
saying?
I did want to pull up the Dixie because I've been warning about something on the Dixie for a while, and we finally got that break below a trend line that the Dixie has been holding for literal years. So this is a trend line all the way from back here about 2010. So we have held this trend line for a long time, and we have been maintaining on the bottom side of this trend line here. Let's get that pulled back to the daily so you can kind of view things just a little bit better here. We do have an area of interest directly towards the downside to kind of keep your eye on. If we can't maintain this platinum pocket here, 95.11, then we could really start to see some heavy movements towards the downside on the dollar. Nice, nice movements for your assets. Because as the dollar loses strength, you're going to see people flock to hedges. Some of these are going to be your bigger stocks. Some of these are going to be gold, silver. We've already been seeing some of those movements here, but you'd see even stronger movements. So kind of keep your eyes on some of this. We got that break below our trend line, potentially looking for that on a shorter term time frame to get that nice push back towards the upside here, really retest that trend line before a stronger move towards the downside. We are seeing some bottoming action on the daily, here on the hourly as well. On the shorter term time frame, we're also seeing that bottoming structure. We've got that nice little sweep below. We've got a triple bottoming signal here on our 15-minute to kind of show some reversals. We're just lacking some volume, so keep your eyes on some of this. If we can get that pushback towards the trend line, retest that as some resistance, I would look for some heavier movements towards the downside on the dollar. All of that would bode very well for your investments. So keep your eyes on this. Normally what we see when the dollar breaks these massive trend lines that it has held for a long time is strong movements towards the downside. Let me get this move back towards the weekly here and zoom this on out just a little bit. As you can see, we have a similar movement here where we get that nice sideways movement on top of our support. When we get that break below, we get that nice little retest on our support line before we really continue towards the downside with some strength. Same thing back here. I don't have the trend line drawn up, but this was that last little hold of our trend line that we have. We got that nice little retest on it before a massive move towards the downside. So this is why I've been calling out the Dixie for a while now. Keep your eyes on some of this because we could continue to some absolute crushing prices on the dollar. So little less steep of a trend line, but still we could make some absolute new lows on the dollar if this slide continues, which is normally what happens when the dollar loses its strength on a long-term holding support line. You got anything else for the people today, OC?
I think I have one more thing in here. Let me just bring it up into my screen. There it is. Something important I was just seeing right here on Glassnode on Twitter, now known as X, is the 30D and SMA Terry daily SMA of net flow of both Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETF remain negative. There is no sense or renewed demand. That really is not good. We'll see how that plays out, because that means that, well, retail at this point is not pushing on the ETF. We know that retail, it's a big part of the ETF. Maybe that they don't want to really go ahead and buy directly Bitcoin, the self-custody stuff, and they go for the ETF, or even small entities, like preferring to get the ETF for financial reasons or tax reasons, right? But at this point, well, we see that we don't have any growth at that point. We're still seeing flat, and well, that if that stays for too long, we might be seeing the continuation of the downtrend. And let me bring up Bitcoin. Let me now go to a cleaner chart just to put in perspective where we are at. And then let's go to daily, right? Right here. Let me see if I can clear this up. Let's go for this one. And why not? Let me see. Maybe I'm just trying to figure out. There it is. I think this one is going to be it. All right, so let's remove this, and we can see that we are into a range, and this is an up ranging scenario. We usually, or that have the vibes of a bear flag. So differently from this past cycle where the range was downwards and then we bounce out of it. Well, if we start losing this support right here, it seems like we might be trying to lose that trend line. Well, if we're losing that support and we have one last bounce, we are going to be starting the bear market, yes or yes. Right. So for me, that's the last line in the sand. If we don't have a bounce out of those areas, well, I think this the 4 year cycle. It's not that is untouched, but it's still very strong pushing, right? So yeah, that's basically all that I got for now. I just want to tell you guys, be careful. Right now, looking for shorts might not be a bad idea, but not at the bottom, right? Not at the bottom. Remember, we buy bottoms, we sell tops, but when we buy the bottom and it breaks down, that's why we use a stop loss, and then we need to wait for the retest to re-enter for the next upcoming short. So stay sharp, keep your eyes open, and most likely this is going to be playing out throughout this week. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, yeah. And so it's kind of interesting that you bring that up, where a lot of people were talking about how the ETFs were going to be the big push of why we'd see a super cycle. And it's the change of capital that we've never seen before. And then the one thing I've really noticed is that even with the ETFs, coming in here, buying up Bitcoin ETFs, buying up Ethereum ETFs, the capital has just been flowing the same as it always flowed without the ETFs. We've just widened the nozzle and we've allowed some new investors to come in, but you've also seen that rotation that we used to see in the crypto markets to those ETFs so that they could have the safety of it, so that they don't get screwed by an FTX absolutely like crap in the bed in a bear market, and then be like, oh, you're not going to have your money for the next 6 years while we figure out how we're going to pay all the people that were invested in our crypto exchange, and then you get the crumbs. So this is why I never thought the ETF would be that massive change in the crypto space that would send us to a super cycle.
Well, I did, and I actually still think that it is, but not quite there yet. I mean, I think that I have a hybrid opinion between what you've been saying, because it's completely truth, right? Not because there's a gate, it means that people are going to go through that gate, right? I mean, it needs to be an appealing gate. And that, yeah, I mean, we know that most of the investors, new investors, they just follow what bigger money does. And right now, bigger money is not seems to be buying frenetically there. But let me remind you that a couple of weeks ago, remember back on when Bitcoin was a little bit lower, somewhere at 89K, Trump media was buying Bitcoin. All right, just let me remind you that. And then they were selling most likely somewhere. Now I don't have the confirmation of that, but most likely selling some of those profits at 97K. So, all right, just take it for what it is. At this point, I don't see any news of anybody else buying at this moment. And we see that ETF, remember, ETF, it's big money entry. So we aren't seeing that new investings rushing in as we were expecting, right? I just feel that we need some more regulations or some more push from the people. Genius Act, I think, is this the right step forward. Yields on USDT, USDC, that will be absolutely fantastic if we can keep them up. And by the way, something very important: really read the small caps when you're holding your crypto out there. Just as an example, if you have USDT on Binance, all right, they're offering you a 6.8%, but it's capped to $500, man. So if you have like 1,000, you're just actually making closer to a 2.8%, even with that 6.8%. So just keep that in mind. There is a lot of deceptive news out there, and better look for or read for this smaller lines, right? So that's what I'm doing, trying to have an equilibrium with where and how I manage my crypto. And I think that would be a great way to do some passive income so far.
Oh yeah, unless it gets shut down, which I don't expect it to get shut down anytime soon, especially since we might see the government closing down for a little while and not seeing any acts passed. The Clarity Act being shut down, the Genius Act pretty much being shut down. So for now, it looks like we're not going to get any clarity on any of these crypto projects.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
I do have a redirect all set up to head over to Crypto Princess. It looks like she's already live. So, make sure to drop those graduation caps in the chat when you get over there. You are going live this evening, sir?
Absolutely. We'll see you guys up next. And trading with OC, trade setups with OC.
All right. And then I'm working on getting a new show set up for here in the afternoons because I am not able to wake up in time. So keep your eyes on that one. For now, I'm working on like the title and all of that stuff. So until then, until next time, make sure to keep your stop losses tight because we might be seeing just a little bit of volatility this week. And until next time, make sure to have a good day because we're going to be seeing some crazy movements and some ability to make some profits. But y'all, I will see you in the chats and see you at Trading with OC tonight at what, 7 p.m.?
Yes, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. Have a good one.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
They don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out, 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 out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break.